Hi, Mom and Dad. I miss you guys. I love you. I can't wait to see you.
Okay, so one of the things that we do is we want the horse to be familiar with us being around it and touching it. You know, we're going to touch the horse all over the place when we're riding. We reach down to pat it and say, good horse, or maybe we're having to do some kind of a medical issue, like give them a shot, or, you know, maybe they've got a cut underneath their leg or something like that. So we want them to be very familiar with us touching them, and we call it the friendly game. So Joey has been working with this horse for several months, and he's going to explain to us what it is he's going to do and just what the friendly game is, and then demonstrate for us.
So first I'm going to rub my horse everywhere with my hand, and then I'll do it with a lead rope.
Now, you've been around enough to watch. What happens if a horse isn't already used to people? What would that horse be doing right now?
It like startles, it freaks out.
Yeah, moving away from you, not wanting to be touched. Yeah.
What's your butt? His butt. Chest, legs. Maybe pick up his legs.
Now, what he's doing now is really important. Like I said earlier, that horses don't want to give up their feet because that's their means of escape and fighting. And so for that horse to submit and let him pick up the feet is a big deal. Now, Joey, the first time you picked up the horse's feet, you might be hiding behind the horse right now. I don't know if the camera's getting you or not. Joey, when you first started working with a horse, the first time you picked up a horse's feet, were you nervous?
Yes.
And which feet were the scariest?
I would say the back feet. They're like cannons.
Yeah, the back feet are pretty scary because you think they're going to pop you or something. Did this horse kick at you at all? No. But if a horse is brand new, never been touched before, they'll probably kick at you if you don't go slow and do it slow. So go ahead and pick up its feet, its front feet, and its back feet. And again, this horse has been trained, and so, you know, he's going to cooperate. And this is mostly at this point for Joey to kind of learn the process and understand it, so that when he does it later with the horse that he's going to work with that isn't used to it, he knows what to do. Yeah, now one other little benefit that comes from Joey just picking up those back feet, you know, he mentioned a second ago that he was kind of nervous when he did it the first time. The back feet are scary, so it does a lot for Joey's confidence to be able to pick up those back feet. And he starts to become more familiar with the horse and realize he's not going to get kicked. In fact, Joey, walk around behind. When you were little, you always told, don't get behind a horse, right? But look what he's doing now. You know, he can just get right back there. And as long as you don't startle the horse isn't going to kick you. They only kick when they're afraid. Horses basically operate in two modes, fear and trust. And so if they trust, you have no problems. If they fear, don't get behind them. Okay. Let me ask you to do something else. Let me ask you, he's already doing it there. One of the things that we learn, remember, it's all about body language. And there he goes. He's asking that horse to lower his head. Now, a horse, when they're afraid, their head goes high in the air because, you know, they're afraid they're going to get attacked or something. They got to see a bear coming. And so for a horse to lower his head, again, is a sign of being calm, submission, and I'm okay with you. So he's putting a little pressure on that horse's head, and the horse will move away from the pressure and lower his head. So this is another exercise that we do. Actually, what do we call that game when we're asking him to move like that? Do you remember what it's called?
The porcupine?
Yeah, that's the porcupine game, where we touch the horse in certain places and we ask them to move away from the pressure. And so he was asking him to lower his head by putting some pressure on there, and he lowers his head away from the pressure. Now, why would you want to do that? Well, when I'm out on a trail ride and my horse is getting nervous for whatever reason it might be the wind blowing or a squirrel ran in front of us or whatever, and he starts to prance around, and maybe I'm on a thin little trail with a cliff on the side, I want him to calm down. And one of the ways I'm going to ask him to calm down is ask him to lower his head. And you can do exactly what Joey was just doing with his hand on the ground. You can do that same thing in the saddle by knowing how to apply your reins just right. You can apply pressure and get him to lower his head. And that's a way to ask him to be calm and to trust you. Now, he'll lower his head because you're the one giving the signal, and he trusts you, so he'll lower his head. And then he forgets about the bear. And he knows he's with you and you're his safety. Think about it for a second, the ramifications of what he's doing with his horse and relationships with people. Because don't people want to trust also? Don't they want to be in relationships where they trust the other person? And are there things we can do, both verbal and nonverbal, to gain that trust? And so Joey's learning those lessons with his horse. One of the beautiful things about a horse, and I mentioned this earlier, is they only live in the present. There's no past or future to them. There's only now. And so they don't play games. They respond immediately to the stimulus that you're providing them. And where people don't do that. You know, you might do something with me, but I'm not going to give you the satisfaction of winning me over or whatever it might be, so I hold back. You know, horses don't do that. They don't play those games. They're honest and sincere and open 100% of the time. They're either afraid and trusting, or they're either afraid and not trusting, or they're trusting and comfortable with you, one or the other. And you're going to know it immediately. Okay, that was great, Joey. You did a good job with that, and thank you.